Make sure you can see me in the videos. Probably not. All right. There we go. Now we're live. Now I'm ready. What's up? Okay. So today we are going to talk about tight hips and why more stretching may not be the solution. So your hips are really in charge of a lot of things, stability, power, alignment. So and flexibility could be the problem for some people, but there's a lot of other jobs that our hips try to do for other parts of our body that they're really not designed to do that well. They're strong enough to do them, but we're going to find out today what your hips are doing, how to align them, and then some quick, easy exercises you can start doing every single day to get the results you need from your hips. Coach you how to do that. Before I get started, I'm going to go over my peptide for this week. And this is a collagen peptide. It's super easy. It tastes amazing. I put it in my coffee. This is a Protella flavor. So, my chocolate hazelnut lovers, put this in our coffee, and it's 10 grams of protein. Yep, 10 grams of protein. So that's awesome. If you like peptides, I'd love to discuss that more. But that's just an easy one you can ingest and get things rolling if you are interested about what peptides can do for you. That's mainly for skin, hair, nails, and my protein intake and tendons. Okay, so there's the performance benefit of it. All right, so when we talk about our hips, all right, let's get started. Let's figure out alignment and neutral position. Because anytime we start working out, or I work with clients about, how to do certain exercise movements, I really just want them to know how to stand. So my biggest cue is stand how you want to look. All right, so good posture. We could talk about that all day. But really what your hips what your hips are doing is going to affect your posture more than your neck and your shoulder. So let's get back to focus on the hips here. First thing we're going to do is lay flat on your back. Okay. You got to figure out where neutral position is. Okay. So from here, let's talk about how the hips are shaped and how they're functioned. So you want to think about your hips as a bowl of water. So when I'm standing upright, we don't want water spilling out of any of the sides of the hips, out of the front, out of the back. We want everything level and flat. So that means my head is going to be in the center of that bowl of water. So when we're laying flat here, if you think of your hips, your bowl of water, okay, I'm completely on my side. How do I make sure my head is in the middle of that? Because if I'm tilted here, I'm not in the center. My hips are tilted forward. So if I was standing up, I'd be dumping water out the front of my hips. Okay. Some people may be tilted backwards. Okay. So if you feel like this is tighter, you can't get your hips to relax here. That's what's happening. Hips are tilted back. If you feel funky, most people are twisted. Like I said on the first video, we drive kind of in this position. Right, so this hip tends to be tilted more forward than this one, just as we drive. So all my drivers out there. All right, so let's talk about the side-to-side stuff real quick, because that one's easy to fix. We can reset hips that are misaligned left to right, and it's really easy to do. You need to stick something strong. This may not be strong enough. Really, for me, this is like a small broom handle. One we kind of like tuck away, not like a wooden one. It feels like really light aluminum. All right, so I'm going to go on the top of this leg and under this leg, and I'm going to bring my knees up just above my hips, and I'm going to try to snap this stick in half. So I'm going to bring this leg towards me, so this hip is going to be working up towards my shoulder, and then I'm going to drive this leg back, like away from me, so this hip is pushing away from me here. And I'm just going to do a static hold, about 10 seconds. Okay, and then I'll switch. And I'm trying to snap it in two. That's what I'm trying to do. So now I'm going to drop this hip down, and I'm going to bring this hip towards my shoulder. And hold it. About 10 seconds. All right. And go ahead and do it twice, honestly. And even if you're not sure if you have hips that are misaligned, do this. All right. You'll thank me later, because you'll get stronger in different muscles at the very minimum, but you're probably going to activate and relax some muscles that need to be addressed. so we can keep the hips even. All right. And no, you don't have one leg shorter than the other. That's one of the things that I would hear all the time is like, oh, I'm this way, one leg shorter than the other. No, your posture in one leg is usually off. Like maybe you extend your knee more on one leg than the other, or you hold your weight on one side than the other. That creates misaligned hips, not longer or shorter legs. Okay. So if that's something that you believe you have a leg longer than the other, shorter, whatever you want to think about it, this is exactly the drill you need to do every single day. This will adjust the hips and help that correct. It'll help with some upper back issues you may be having. So that's really an easy one. Okay, so now let's talk about, we're going to stay down here into our glute bridge progressions, but I'm going to teach you what, excuse me. I'm going to teach you what you want to look for after a quick water break. That's my sign. I might be talking too much. That's what you're here for. So, okay. So in our glute bridges, we want to figure out if you're even turning on the right muscles or not. If when you say I need to do a hip extension, when you want to bring your hips forward in your body, do you even use the right muscles? So we're going to check that real quick. It's pretty easy. Lay flat on your back with your feet here flat on the floor, hands in a comfortable position, not super important. Well, you're going to hold your leg. Just kidding. All right. I'm going to keep this leg on the floor and I'm going to bring this leg to my knee and I'm going to drive my hips up. I'm going to try to create a straight line from my knee, hip, and my shoulder here. Okay. And then I'm just going to hold it. Immediately, I feel my glutes kick in and my hamstrings kick in. All right. So that's okay. You want to feel it more in the glutes than the hamstrings. I'm feeling it about even, but we want to make sure it's not a quad motion. Okay. So if you feel it there in your quad, then you really need to hold this position for a while. 20 seconds or so, and practice that daily and get that muscle to fire. So I got good fire on my backside. So I'm going to switch legs and check that. And this is something I do at least weekly, if not, 3 or 4 times a week. So I test this and I work this motion to make sure I'm firing on both sides. So this side, I have more glute dominance here. My hamstrings aren't doing too much work. Oh, here, my quad's starting to try to work. So I'm lift up more into that position to get the quad to relax as I want this to be my backside firing. All right, perfect. All right, so if that little sequence there didn't make sense to you and you feel the different muscles, so the quads here are on the top, hamstrings are on the back, glutes are the ones that we're sitting on. So you want the ones that you're sitting on to start taking over the load first. If it goes into your hamstrings, that's okay. But we want to avoid the quads kind of doing that work for us, okay? So another quick exercise. If that was okay for you, if you felt comfortable on the test there in which muscles are working, you can just do single leg bridges, okay? If you did not feel good on that test and you need more stability, you can do both legs down and keep doing our bridges here. All right. Then if this is not a comfortable position for you at all, I want you to roll your hips to the side. Okay. So this is like a 90-90 position through our hips. All right. And if this is difficult, you actually want to start laying down and then you want to progress up into like a seated position. So this would be an advanced 90-90 sit. Working through that, I'm trying to create balance through my hips as my hips are individually rotated. They're rotated to opposite directions, right? And then we'll switch and get both sides there. So any variation of this 90-90 sit, laying down, hands supported. You can even work on, holding weights in this position, whatever level you're at, you want to start working towards this somehow and keep it in your daily routine. Okay. 90-90 sits. So let's recap just a little bit. The 90-90 sits is going to be some of the mobility issues. So if you can't do that comfortably, then mobility is your issue. So then you would actually kind of hold that as a stretch, but working in those motions specifically. The glute test that we just did is going to let you know if strength is an issue. So if you don't feel the right muscles firing at the right time, that's probably because of your neck pain and your back pain. And so I knew I had another point and I was recapping so I could remember. All right. So let's go back to this position. If you're not comfortable, let's say that your shoulders, your upper back is just not comfortable at all laying in a flat position. Maybe you're forward rounded, the shoulders are caved in a whole lot, internally rotated a lot. If this isn't comfortable for you, then your hips are going to be compensating for that as well. And it's going to do that in a way that's going to shorten your breath. Okay, so this now becomes a breathing situation to help you fix your hips. Now you can use a bench, a flat bench. You can use the edge of your bed. I prefer if you can get somewhere where you can get your feet on the ground to do this, especially if this is your first time trying it. But I'm going to do some overhead stretches. So I'm going to anchor my feet on the ground and I'm going to lay back. I'm going to give my head some support, but I'm going to bring my arms back. And the goal here is to my rib cage and my upper body. So if I go back and my ribs flare, so I lose that disconnect, like nothing's really happening. I'm not doing much for my breathing. I'm just kind of moving body parts independently. They're not connected. They're not working together. So what I want to do is hold my ribs down tight when I go back here. Okay, so now I'm getting a stretch. And I lost my microphone. So right there. All right, so now I'm getting a stretch through here. And you add a big deep breath where I'm trying to expand my chest as far as I can. Breathe on the way down. Contract on the way up. What this is going to do is, with the breath and this movement happening together, it's going to disconnect your arms from your rib cage, which constricts your breath, which brings your shoulders forward, which tightens up your neck and brings all that neck pain. So this one is a great option. And if there's anybody who throws, I know a lot of softball athletes on here, internal rotation, external rotation is going to improve immediately with this movement. Okay, so pair that up. You want to do about 10 of those. I'm using a 10-pound weight because this is mostly a stretch and not, I know you're here. I got to keep going. Yeah, stay focused. All right, so this is a stretch. I'm really not trying to gain a lot of muscle, so 10 pounds is enough. If you want to do 15, maybe Brian can do 15 pounds for this.
What?
This stretch.
Go over to Instagram. She's live over there. Just wanted to interrupt.
Perfect. All right. So once you start breathing better, once you can start kind of opening your chest and breathing better, that's going to help you get your head over the bowl of your hips. So even if we got your hips balanced out, if your upper body is still pulling you forward, your hips are going to compensate. Okay, so that's another reason why your hips could be tight and it's not really your hips' fault. So that is a complete hip reset. If you run through that and really focus on it, complete hip reset. It is a kind of step one in a corrective exercise program when I used to build athletes for power. So if you're an athlete, let your kids know about it. Every sport, even if you're still, a runner, things like that. This is great exercise. And I'm going to leave you with one more thing here, and we'll sign off for today. All right. This is one of the last resets for the hip. Half kneeling lunge. I lunge all the time, so there's going to be a lunge in just about every workout, even the upper body workouts. I find a way to mix lunge in there. Okay, but I find if you are someone who feels like your hips are pulled forward, then you want to do this with a flat foot. Okay, flat foot. Even the top of my foot is flat on the ground. Okay. Now, if you are someone who feels like your hips are tilted backwards, you want to adjust this by bringing this forward here. Okay, and that's going to help you keep your hips more neutral so you can stabilize the hips and get the right stretch, the right place. Okay, so if you feel like your hips are tilted backwards, then you want to elevate your back heel here. If you feel like your hips are pointed more forward, we want to be flat here. Okay, and if this is easy, if you feel like you have good a flexibility through your hip flexors, then the next move would be let's strengthen you up here. All right. So a nice isometric hold, where you just hold this position. Really, anything over 2 minutes is not going to be beneficial. Try to get to 20 to 30 seconds, but start where you're at and see what you can build to. But this is a good isometric hold. I'm getting a lot of fire through the backside, fire through the quad. I can feel my hips starting to release. The longer you hold muscles, more times the right muscles start taking over. So you can feel some other muscles give way and relax, and you can stabilize things the longer you hold it. So it's actually a good kind of a restructuring position as well, doing isometric holds. Great for the tendons. Tendons get stronger when you have time under tension. So things like this increases tendon strength as well, which we all need, especially if we like to move with any type of speed or velocity or power. We want to have good, strong tendons that respond. I have one more hip exercise we're going to add, and that's going to be everything today officially. So thank you guys for tuning into these early shows. I'm kind of getting the flow. These are all exercises I've taught, just putting them in this line or this presentation. It's just a fun way for me to get it all out to you guys. All right, so we got good isometric holds there. Okay, last thing, we can make this as simple or as complicated as you want to. And that's where Smith Fit Club really comes in. The step one foundation is on sale right now, $49, smithfitclub.com. You'll see it there on the website. That's going to give you, if these exercises are difficult for you or you want more grounding, it's going to go over all the exercises, the ankles, the hips, the knees, and the shoulders, or the core, not shoulders. We'll go through the core. So it's going to teach you how to move properly through all that. And it comes with the high nutrition program, so you learn how to battle inflammation, control cravings, and get your focus on eating the right foods, real foods. So I'll walk you through that. It's real easy. Okay, so the last thing is our lateral movements, because this is something that people forget to add to their workouts, and it will change everything. I had like beach volleyball players, we just added some lateral movement, and their verticals increased like 4 inches overnight. Okay, a little bit of core movement, side bending, and lateral movements is all we added to their current workout. And this guy was absolutely shredded anyway. So just the lateral movements can really complete your power regimen or whatever power you're trying to create, whatever sport, or just move this way. Okay, so if you do this, I know this looks silly. Typically, you would do more like maybe 10 yards or something in that. You can always put exercise bands. I have those tucked away. Okay. But exercise bands, if you want to make those harder, if you get them down by your ankles, get a different workout. And if you want to bend your knees and bring it by your knees, that's a different workout there too. But lateral movements can get, if you actually do both of them, it would actually work out great. Position the bands around it. This will be a different workout a different day. So start thinking lateral movements, add them in whenever you can, even if it's just some side-to-side movements if you're waiting, okay? But that's what I got today. Recap, your hips might need, they're tight, but it may not be flexibility, range of motion. It may be tension. It may be doing the job of other muscles. It could be misalignment. It could be strength imbalances. But what we walk through today is going to address all of those things for you. If you're sore in new places after trying this workout, then congratulations, you are corrective exercising yourself. You do get a different type of sore when you're correcting alignment. So it's a good sore. So congratulations for getting yourself there. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, shoot us a DM. If you don't know how to get a hold of us by now, then I guess it's not meant to be. But we're here and available for your questions. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to start step one at smithfitclub.com.